Bandai really thought they killed Black by banning Ice Age and Gecko Moria. They thought they took it behind the barn and shot it in the head. Fortunately for you Black players that blinged out your deck, Lucci is in a better spot than ever. I'm going to show you a video of me beating top players with various versions of this deck, so please enjoy and subscribe.
Heart Pirates TCG.
Alright, so this is actually my Lucci deck. You guys see my dog in the background. He's having a good old time back there. Yeah, this is my Lucci deck right here. It's going to look a little bit different in the clips that I show you guys, but it is actually insane. And I know the main card you guys are looking at right here is this Tashigi. And in the videos, you guys are going to see Finger Pistol as well as a couple 6-cost Brooks. I think there's a version where I also tested out Soap Sheep as well, which is not a bad option, don't get me wrong. Actually, it might be better to play Soap Sheep rather than the Patchwork Couture. But the reason that I'm doing that is, think of it like this. This Tashigi right here, automatically, so it doesn't get its elite. Oh, I'm sorry, let me move my camera for you guys. It doesn't get the -4. But it does still get the activate main trash is 0 cost. So with Patchwork or Tempest Kick, with leader effect, you are automatically trashing Burgess every single time, and it is a 1k counter, which is fantastic. Also, the reason Patchwork over the Soap Sheep is, even if we don't have the Tashigi, which we also can bring back off Rebecca, by the way, we can basically stun and pin the Burgess in place, because what it says is give up to one of your opponent's characters -3 cost during this turn, then up to one of your opponent's characters with the cost of 0 isn't set as active during the next refresh phase. So basically we can pin the Burgess in place because the Burgess is a 4 cost. We just have to swing with our leader first to make it a 3, and then we can pin it in place and basically make sure it's stunned basically, so it can't attack again. So this is a 1-card answer for Burgess temporarily. It's almost like a blocker in that way. But also, like I said, with Tashigi or Tempest Kick, it trashes a 5, which is absolutely unreal. So also what you could do is you could catch the Blackbeard player slipping, and you can basically, they might not use their leader effect on their 5-don turn because they're not worried about it, and then you go, okay, you know, Tempest Kick or Patchwork Couture on your 6-don turn, and then Tashigi, and then just pop it, right? Like, that's absolutely insane. So with that being said, let's go to the rest of the deck. I'm playing 3 Brook. I found Brook hasn't been as good because there are low to the ground decks, but with Brook, you can just get it, you can keep recycling it. So as long as you see one, like, you can just keep getting it back off of like Rebecca or Moncherie. So I don't think you need to have 3. And, you know, basically cutting it allowed us to add extra copies of something like Lucci. It added us to add extra copies of Kaku, which I think is also a really strong card, especially if Dofi remains relevant. And then also, you know, it allows us, and what I really like about Kaku too, guys, is it's able to pop like the Tashigi, which I think is really strong, the new 3-cost Tashigi. But also we're playing Stussy just for the Shanks matchup in case they play a lot of big guys we can't get off the board. And then I think the main thing is, I think Cross is the one that not invented this, but was like talking about Moncherie. I've always liked this card. I was teching it in Blackbeard in last set. I decided that, you know, there's a couple builds I had with it, a couple builds I had without it, but I've you know, in Sakazuki in set 5, we played this card. I even considered playing it as a 1-of in set 6, because Katakuri it wasn't relevant, like super relevant, but it was a matchup you did have to like kind of look out for occasionally if they got a little bit lucky or you had a little bit of slow start. Now Sakazuki was very favored in that matchup, but Moncherie definitely helped out a lot with that matchup. And I don't remember when I got top 8 in set 6 with Saga, I don't remember if I was playing one of these or not. I can't remember, but I did beat a Katakuri in top 16 to get me to top 8. So this card's awesome. I love it. Very partial towards it. Obviously, Rebecca, you don't have to talk about that. I think we're playing 9 2Ks total. We're playing Who's Who. We're playing this guy. It just says like a cheese card. It's also searchable off the Spandom. I never want Spandom to whiff. And there's a chance that it does sometimes because most of your stuff is not CP, right? So like you got like Kaku, you have like the 2Ks, all the 2Ks, and then you have the Tempest Kick, but you're playing a lot of cards without it, right? You're playing 4 Hina, 4 Tashigi, 4, you know, Patchwork, 4 Rebecca, Moncherie, Sabo, you know, Brook, like, so it could whiff. I just don't want it to whiff, so I want to have as many options and targets as possible, obviously to fill up the trash too. But other than that, guys, I played some insane players with this deck randomly on the rank simulator. The first one I'm going to show you is a game against Impact, the #1 player in the entire entire Western region. So you know, let's get to the video. All right, so this game is against the number one player in the United States. His name is Josh Graham, also known as Impact on Limitless TCG, or just his Bandai TCG name. Absolutely insane player. He has more. I think he has 14 top eights, which is absolutely ridiculous. Now, this is the game I was telling you guys about where I did play a finger pistol, and also I was playing the Brooks in this situation right here. Now, finger pistol definitely helped with this one turn right here, but I would have been like, worst case scenario, if I had a patchwork couture, I could have, instead of one of the Brooks or the finger pistol, I could have just cleared his what is it called? His Weevil either way, which would have actually been better for me. So because me not establishing a character means that he can bounce both his Law and his his Sengoku and his Perona, whereas he would have only been able to bounce the Sengoku and my Brook. And then Brook the next turn, obviously I can just, pop something else again on curve, more than likely the Teach. And then use the rest of my Dawn to attack into the Law. Now, I think that's really the best play right here. Now, I could go 6-cost Brook right here, but I think that's a little bit too slow. It only gets rid of one character, and I wanted to get some cards out of his hand because he just gained a lot of advantage playing the, what is it called? The Brook, right? I'm sorry, the Law. So I wanted to get a little bit of advantage back. I wanted to take some cards out of his hand. Establishing the Brook, I don't think was super necessary. Maybe it was, but I don't know. I think either play was fine, but I think getting rid of 2 cards from his hand while also killing the same character, it gave me more value. Also, being a little bit more flexible with your plays. If I swung 7 there and I let the he lets the Law die, then I'm able to pop the Teach as well. Whereas if I would have just played Brook there, I had no chance of popping both of them. So there is a high risk, high reward situation right there where I could have popped potentially both. And luckily he played around it and he didn't let me just pop both things, or basically clear both things. That would have been huge. So I went with that play. Whereas Brook, it's harder to bounce obviously because I need Jozu, but he keeps cards from his hand. I think that's kind of the play I made. Same thing here. I go 8 into the Law, just trying to get it out of trying to get it off the board. How you beat Dofi is basically you stop their early game pressure, and then once you can start trying to like wall off behind Rebecca's and Lucci's and popping 2 things at a turn, that's kind of how you win this game. And he knows that, I know that, so we're both playing accordingly. Swinging 7 into a Law, him saving it. Swinging 8 into a Law, him saving it. He knows damn well what his win condition is, and obviously so do I, because I'm trying to exploit it. But he is a very smart player, a very good player. He's not going to let that happen on his watch as long as he has the abilities to do it. He goes with a 5 here. Now, turns like this, I'm not going to lie to you, I do really like to be a little bit more aggressive, but he's going to go Law, bounce back Sengoku, bounce back Perona. I'm going to take this one here because I don't want to discard the Brook just in case I need it. The Sabo there is super helpful because I have 2 dead Brooks in hand, the 6 costs, and I don't think I'm ever going to be in a position to play it in this matchup right here. Now, I don't think Dofi is going to be super relevant. I think a lot of people are going to be playing other decks because, they're in new format, trying out some new things. We might see some resurgence later on, but yeah, I definitely don't think Brook is the answer, guys. So if you guys are watching this and you see Brook in any of these games, I wouldn't really pay it any mind. I have done a lot of testing with this deck, and I don't believe that Brook is the right call. Now, Josh here says the Gecko PTSD here. For those of you guys who don't know, both me and Josh we're big Dofi players, right? I got a lot of tops on Dofi. He got a lot of tops on Dofi, way more than I did actually. So we both know that that this is the scariest play, the scariest turn for a Dofi player. But the PTSD is no longer here. It's no longer relevant because we do not have access to Gecko in this version of the deck. So we have to be a little bit more creative when trying to kill 3 bodies this turn. And I just told him, like, you don't have anything to worry about in this situation because there's nothing to fear. There's no 9 Tempest Kick where Gecko, Spandine, Lucci combo. So that is the biggest scare. Now I have the option of playing double Rebecca here, and while that would protect me against a Law play, I think playing the Brook outright and keeping the Rebecca and swinging 7 both into the Law Yeah, I'm going to use the effect on that. Swinging 7 at the Law and the Spandine is the best because, like I said, I'm just bleeding cards from his hand, taking away the resources. Him without Teach makes it harder for him to recover his Sengokus in an efficient way, and especially now without Teach, he goes into Gravity Blade. He takes out my Kaku and my Brook, and I believe he goes 5 into the... I think it's into life. Now, personally, I'm going to go ahead and counter this with... I think I give him the Kaku here. And in fact, that's actually the best play because countering with the Sabo, I have 2 dead cards in hand and I want to use the Sabo much later on. So my goal here, ideally, if I would have drawn a Tempest Kick, would be on my 10 on turn. Or even, you know, now that I'm playing Patchwork, on my 10 on turn, I go Patchwork, you know, put something at one, Rebecca, get back a Brook, pop something, and then play Sabo, cycle 2 dead cards out of my hand. Now I have 2 blockers, I pop something with Brook, and then I'm also, you know, establishing multiple bodies on the board and being a little bit safe in the process. Now I'm going to go 5 here and then 5 again. I believe he's going to save both of these, which is the right call, but this is the turn where I absolutely 100% have to play the Sabo here. And guys, pay attention to my sequencing too, by the way. If I would have gotten a Tempest Kick off of the Sabo cycle, then I would have actually used the Tempest Kick instead because I was going to be able to pop his Sengoku, which is actually really important in this matchup too, because while we're both killing the same thing, establishing that and getting a dead card out of hand is actually slightly better. So that was my philosophy on the sequencing right there, just to make sure that, you know, before I commit to a play with 5 Dawn, I want to make sure I have the best options at my disposal. Now he goes ahead and swings 7 into the Hina. I let the Hina go. Him swinging 7 here means that he's running out of resources and he needs to make sure I have as little attacks as possible to be able to clear his board. I actually think he should have gone into life there because him swinging into the Hina, I think it's actually better for me because I don't have to dedicate any resources to get out of it. So I actually really like that personally. Sorry, I got a weird email. I had to check that real quick. So yeah, you always want to do basically what your opponent doesn't want you to do. And for that, I don't want to discard any cards out of my hand because I'm running very low. And he only had 1 character that was rested anyway, so I think that was a little bit of a mistake on Josh's part right there. So I go ahead and I want to test out, at the beginning of every game, you want to test out, or I'm sorry, at the beginning of every turn, you want to see what your opponent's going to do. And you want to, before committing any Dawn, see how they respond. So I go 6 right there, see what he does. He decides to let the Weevil go, which I was very happy about because, you know, a lot of your big plays with Lucci require like at least 8 or 9 Dawn. So Soap Sheep here would have been absolutely insane. In fact, that's why I did play the Spandine, the Spandam, because I was looking for a Tempest Kick. If I did play Soap Sheep, I said to him, I cut the Soap Sheep for the Brooks, for the Blackbeard matchup, and I immediately play him on Dofi, where I honestly don't understand. I'm in a really bad spot here, so I'm trying to figure out how I actually come back into this game, because it's not looking great for me. I go ahead and go Rebecca here. He already used his Grab Blade, so, you know, if he has another one, then he has another one. It is what it is, but Grab Blade's not super popular in this meta, especially now that Bonnie doesn't lose to it, now that it has Tashigi. So I'm going to go ahead and go Rebecca, pop both the 1-drop and the Boa. And this is important too, because if he wants to bounce my Rebecca, it's going to be hard for him to do that without Teach. So he has to have a Teach and a Law in hand, and he only has 4 cards in hand, so it's unlikely he has both, especially because I've gotten rid of so many of them. That's kind of my philosophy right there. Obviously, a Grab Blade would really hurt right here, but most people are not playing, you know, 3 Grab Blade anymore, like, especially because BY is no longer a thing. So I'm not really too concerned about a Grab Blade. He goes ahead and hard casts a Boa, and he puts them at the bottom, which I'm very thankful for. I'm not sure what he was looking for. Maybe a Gecko, maybe a Law, obviously, but he goes ahead and swings 6. I believe it's into life. I believe he goes into life here. And what I do is I 2k counter out of one of these. If I remember correctly, I 2k counter. Oh, disregard. He plays the Teach, and I believe he does have the Law in hand already. I believe he's going to swing 7 into leader right here. He's going to bounce my Rebecca. Or no, he's going to bounce my Lucci. I remember this, guys. He's going to bounce my Lucci because I'm starting to have some pretty big attacks, and I don't believe he actually has a whole lot of counter in hand, and I don't believe that, and if he goes for life, I actually could potentially just like math him out of the game, potentially. I don't think that was the case. I think he probably should have blocked my Rebecca with Rebecca. or I'm sorry, I think he should have bounced back my Rebecca, but I actually go ahead and take this because I don't. He's gonna swing 7/7. I'm gonna go ahead and block 2k out of the first one, and then just counter or block with Rebecca on that one. Now, usually you can stabilize at 1 life with Lucci, and that's always been the bane of Dofi's existence, is just stabilizing at 1 life behind a bunch of blockers that they can't really get rid of super easily. And then if they bounce the blocker, you just basically play it again. Now, what I want to do is before anything is done, I want to see how he's going to respond to this, to what I'm going to do. Obviously, I'm going to go ahead and Rebecca Hina Lucci, so I'm going to swing 6 into that. I'm going to go ahead and swing, I'm going to go Rebecca, get back Hina, play the Lucci over the Hina I just played, bottom deck 3 cards. I'm going to pop the Teach plus the Boa, and then I'm going to swing, I believe, 6 into the Law, and he decides to let that go too, thankfully. And I do something that a lot of people don't expect here. I swing 6 with the Sabo here, because this deck doesn't have any rush characters, so he has to have another Law. I mean, this guy, he's had so many opportunities to play Law. I feel like he's just running out. I'm pretty sure he has one in hand. I believe he bounced it back. I'm looking in his trash right now. I believe he bounced it back. So he has to have either, he has to hard play Law and then develop a board. Even then, I think I still go for lethal regardless, because even if he bounces back Law and swings into my leader, he has another Teach too. That's actually insane. Yeah, he's just going to go, I believe, 7 into leader. Or no, 10 into leader. Play the Law. Law bounces back the Rebecca. I go ahead and take it, obviously, because I can't counter out. And I think he just hard plays Law and bounces back the Lucci. And I believe I just have the math here, because I know his hand is full of like bricks. And the math for this game right here, guys, is just like 7 to see what he does. If he gives you every card from his hand, you can kind of just go 7 again. So that's kind of the math right here. You go 7 first, and then you go 9, and then he has to counter out of one of them, or he just takes like a 15. So the game is pretty much over from here. But shout out to Josh. He is an absolutely insane player, and I'm actually really looking forward to playing more games against him. So hopefully we're going to be able to match up, or maybe if if you're seeing this video, Josh, just hit me up anytime you want to play some games, and I'm always down. So yeah, with that being said, let's go to the next one. All right, so I'm going to speed this one up. No offense to Dodo21050 here, but, I wanted to obviously take a little bit more time against the Impact game, because it was just a really good back and forth game against, obviously the best player in the United States. So I wanted to make sure you guys got as much info out of that as possible. It was just a really fun game. I'm very excited to commentate games against like really good players. I would say it's like one of my favorite things. So my goal one day is, or my dream one day is to cast a regional. I know they've only let Eggman do that shit, but I'd love to do it someday for sure. I feel like I'd be really good at it. I think I would be really good at it, because I'm pretty knowledgeable about the game, so I think that would help out a lot. So this guy's going to go 5, he's going to go 6. I'm going to go ahead and take the first one, counter the second one. I wasn't expecting him to actually swing with the Nami there. I thought he was going to play like a Lucky Roo, so that's why I took the 5, obviously, even though I could have countered out of it. I go ahead and play double Spandine to kind of fill up the trash. I already have a what is it called? I already have a Tempest Kick, and I figured that the Finger Pistol might actually be better, because with Leader Effect and Brook, I'm hitting a 7, which is absolutely massive. Obviously, that's never going to happen, but now I am getting rushed down kind of hard here. I'm not going to lie. Like, this is definitely not fun for me, to say the least. And what I want to do is I actually want to do for those of you guys who don't know, back in set 5, we had against Enel, we had a infinite Mon Cherie like glitch. Not like obviously not a glitch, but basically what we did was decks that didn't play like Searchers, or decks that didn't play a whole lot of bodies, or any realistic removal, we can just have a Mon Cherie on the board and infinitely loop it over and over again, because if they attack into the Mon Cherie, we just block with Rebecca and then recur the Rebecca back with the Mon Cherie. So it's actually an absolutely hilarious play, and I'm gonna do that here. And while it probably might have not been the best play, I'm not gonna lie, lie, just doing it was absolutely hilarious because it just reminded me of the good old days. So, you know, in real life, I probably would be more careful with like what I'm like putting back on under or to the bottom of the deck. But for right now, I was just having some fun because I think I was high off the impact win. I think I was high off the impact win, so I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna fuck around. So this guy ends up having the new. He had the counter for it, but he decided not to use it. So he goes Newgate, pop the Brook, and I was like, okay, so I could keep the Moncherie, and now the games begin because the Moncherie. Bro, the Moncherie glitch is absolutely unreal. It's so funny, bro. It's so funny. And this guy actually had multiple chances to get out of it, and he just never did. So I'm kind of curious as to like what his mindset was behind it. But this will show you the damage that this card can do against the deck like Enel or Shanks if they're playing the more so control Shanks or even the aggro Shanks for that matter. So it's gonna be pretty funny. I'm gonna swing 6 into leader. He's gonna go give me a 1K with leader effect. Gonna hard play Hina. I'm gonna play Kaku right there, and I am taking a little bit of damage. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I do have two 2Ks, two 2Ks, two 1Ks, and you know, with the Moncherie out on the board, I have a great opportunity to be able to just recur all my resources. So he goes ahead and plays the Beckman. Beckman trashes the Kaku, and now the games begin. Now the games begin. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. Use that effect to get back. I thought I had a Rebecca in here, funny enough, but I guess I didn't. I guess I did not have a Rebecca, so I think I'm just gonna get back a 2K because I already have a Hina. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just get some counter, and I believe I just go. I don't remember what I do here, guys. I think this is the turn where he could have actually stopped the Moncherie from attacking in, or from using her effect, but she really didn't. And I hope this is the game I'm thinking of because I had one game where I literally infinitely looped Moncherie like 20 times. I'm hoping that this is the game. This is the game right here, but it might have not been. Now this guy, you know, is under a lot of pressure right now. I have 2 5 costs, my leader plus a 6 cost. So I guess this isn't the game where I loop the Moncherie. I'm sorry, guys. I wanted it to be this game, but it was not. So I go 5. I go 6. He gives me leader effect, which is like the worst thing he can do. So I go 5 5 and then another 6. I'm in such a great spot. I mean, my board is pretty insane. He goes ahead and goes dragon right here, and I give him a 2K, 2K, 1K, and he goes 9 to life. I go ahead and take it, and no effect. And then the math here is you always start out with a 9K just to see what they do. Now I could be playing into Red Hawk, but I don't think it really matters either way because he has to minus the Hina and then pop the Hina, and he has to give me another card anyway. So I feel like that's actually winning for me because I don't need that Hina to attack. If that makes sense, guys. Like I think the math is just better this way. I could be wrong. I'm not gonna lie. When I'm playing these games, I don't think as much as I probably should. To be fair, so I ended up winning this game anyway. Spoiler alert, but I don't think the math matters too much. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But the 9 here, obviously, he triggers into the Red Hawk too, which is absolutely insane. So it actually got me really worried here. I was like, damn. Like what is the math here? You know, trigger into the Red Hawk definitely hurt for sure. So I think it's just 7 7 and then 11, and just hopefully he can't get out of it. Now against the Shanks player, 100% that is a little scary. It's definitely not guaranteed to say the least. But this guy rushed me down pretty hard. This isn't the game where I Moncherie looped, so I didn't have a whole lot of counter at the beginning of this game for sure. And yeah, I think now I play around the Red Hawk for sure. So I just go 7 into leader right here, and I believe he doesn't have the counter. If I remember right, guys, I hope I'm not showing you guys a loss here because I normally don't like to show losses. But if I did lose, we're gonna keep it in here because this is a close game, and he had to trigger Red Hawk to win it if he did win. So I'm gonna go 7 here. He's gonna go ahead and give me a 2K, and then I'm just gonna go 7 again. And I think he's just going to counter out. Yep, use a Rad Beam. And now I'm like, okay, I'm going to lose. This guy plays Rad Beam. And he gives a Rad Beam a 1K and he loses. So go to the next game. All right, guys, so this is another game. I was going to include a different matchup, but because I played against another top player that I really wanted to showcase this one as well. Anytime I play against top players, I want to make sure that you guys are getting the the games, because they're always like really informative and just fun to watch. Now, for whatever reason, I messaged this guy. He actually made me mad. I was like, we meet again. He never messaged me in this game, and I was like, bro, you like mad at me or something? He was like, nah, I was just locked in or something. So this guy was like really locked in this game. He didn't even want to say what's up to his old pal that he always says hi to at the regionals. So this is a fun game right here. I believe this game was not nearly as close as the Impact game, and it's not because Alex or Zoru right here is a bad player. I think I just had a better role this time around, and he had a lower role because obviously winning the dice roll obviously very important for me, whereas Impact won the dice roll in his game, I'm pretty sure, because he went first. But not only that, but starting out with Perona on your forward on turn normally isn't the best bet. Normally you want to go like Sengoku Teach and then or Sengoku Teach and then leader effect is normally what we're gonna do. And I said, damn, you're not even gonna say what's up to your boy. This guy like legit, I was like, what's this guy's issue, bro? I thought it was like someone, maybe I got the wrong guy, but we're good, guys. Me and Zoru are good. We're pals again. But yeah, I go ahead and play the Moncherie here. I'm not worried really about anything. Like he's not gonna like pop the Moncherie. Now this is where I did play Soap Sheep, like I said, and obviously Soap Sheep, maybe it wasn't as close because I played Soap Sheep, and Soap Sheep's absolutely insane in this matchup. So that might be the case right there. But I go ahead and go 5 into leader right there. I'm gonna just go ahead and establish the Kaku instead. I already have the CP cards in the trash, so I was like, yeah, there's no reason not to play the Kaku because he can't bounce it back. I go ahead and give him the Finger Pistol, and I give him back the Spandine back to my deck, because the other two can be recurred with Moncherie, which I like. Now the best part about this matchup right here is he did bounce his Perona, so I actually do get a free Moncherie search, which is amazing. So I'm pretty happy about that. So me swinging 6 here or 5 here and then using Soap Sheep. Yeah, look at that, because I'm like, oh, he bounced back Perona. That's perfect. So I go 5 here, and I minus the Jozu to 5. And then I go ahead and play Soap Sheep, and then minus it down to 3. And then I go Kaku, put back both the cards that I can't recur off the Moncherie. And I'm going to turn the Moncherie into a pseudo blocker. I'm going to go ahead and put a Hina and a 2K back to my deck. And I'm going to go ahead and get back, I believe it's a 2K. Now, normally I would get back the Hina there, but because I already have the Lucci in hand, for those of you guys who don't know, in set 5, whenever you need to have 2 pieces of the puzzle. You needed to find a Hina and you needed to find a Rebecca, or you needed a Rebecca and a Lucci, one of the two, because you can recur the other one off of Rebecca. So if I didn't already have the Lucci, I would have gotten the Hina, just because, or a Lucci, either way, just so I can use that combo on my 8 on turn, which is what I'm coming up on actually, or my 9 on turn. He goes ahead and plays the Jozu again, and he's gonna have to swing 6 into or 5 into the Moncherie, which it makes it basically the Moncherie is like a 2-card combo, by the way, guys, which is awesome. Basically, it gets you a card back, so it replaces itself, and then if they don't have a card on the board to fight into it, they have to swing into it with your leader, or you're just constantly getting value every single time. Now here's where the Rebecca Hina Lucci comes in. I'm gonna go ahead and bottom deck a Lucci, a Stussy, and the Moncherie, because I already have a Lucci, and I already have multiple Luccis in the trash, and I have one on the board, so that's why I do that right there. But yeah, it's looking good for me. This guy's hard low rolling actually, now that I'm looking at this game. But hey man, hey, sometimes it happens, man. Sometimes it happens. Now it's funny because every time I play against Zoru right here, I always get super lucky. Every time I play against Zoru, I get really lucky. I wonder if I counter this. I'm actually surprised I counter this right here. I don't think I should have. Given my hand, like I don't think I needed to save that Hina. Yeah, I don't think I should have actually countered that. That's hilarious. So I'm looking, I wish I had a way to pop both of these guys, but unfortunately I don't. So I'm trying to figure out a way to pop both these guys, but because I can't pop both of these guys, I think I'm just gonna go super aggressive into his life. I'm gonna go 6 here so he can't free block with the boa. He's gonna end up blocking with the boa anyway, which I thought was pretty smart. Yeah, he saw through what I was trying to do. I believe he goes ahead and blocks the bow and gives me a 1k because he knows it's probably just dead either way. So he might as well just get the value from it. But of course, now that he blocked with the boa, I can play my characters less. I'm going to go ahead and play the Spandine, just looking for a body right there. I don't get the 2k because I already have two 2ks, and I figured the finger pistol would be better overall. So now I can actually swing 7. I can swing 7 and another 7, and then I can just play the Kaku just like I planned and establish the body. And what I'm doing is I'm being aggressive into his life. I'm putting him on a little bit of a clock while also taking cards out of his hand and establishing a board, which is important. He goes and gives me the Mihawk here, and then he's going to give me some other card. I don't know what it is. I guess a Law. And I'm going to go ahead. I almost played the Rebecca there. That was almost a big mistake. And then I go ahead and put back the Spandine and the 2k Kaku, I believe. And I'm going to go ahead and pop that. And I'm in a really good spot. This guy's board is not the best right now. Not at all. And I'm just trying to exploit that as best as I can. And the finger pistol might come up next turn. It might not. Honestly, I don't know. It's just an option. Like I said, I'm not playing it anymore, so I found it was not as useful as it once was. Now, I will say the finger pistol is really good into decks like Bonnie. We actually do have a worse matchup into Bonnie now than we did, but I still think it's favored for us. In fact, I do have a match against Bonnie. I'm not going to put it on here because I don't want it to be this video to be absolutely insanely long. If you guys want some stuff like that, I'm going to start streaming, and maybe what I'm going to do is, do I save this here? I guess I do, man. I don't remember saving this, man. I'm making some questionable I'm making some questionable decisions right here, I'm not gonna lie, but I guess it makes sense because with me having two 6Ks on the board, that is no longer like I can just start like pressuring him down pretty hard. But I don't know, man. I guess because I'm at 4 life too, I'm not really worried about dying, so I'm just gonna like kind of step on his throat a little bit. I decided to not play the finger pistol here. I decided to just swing 7-7-7. He can keep the teach. He's running out of cards in hand, so if he wants to keep the teach, that's totally fine. I don't think it's really gonna matter too much right there. Plus, if I didn't go 7 right there, if I just swung 6-6-5 or 5-6-6, I might have not been able to take a couple of them out on the board. Now he decides to red rock. That's actually that's gotta feel awful as a Dofi player right here. I do unfortunately have to let this go right here. Unfortunately, I think I would have saved this too if I had the counter, but I didn't. So I'm gonna go 9 here. Obviously, he has to counter out of this one right here because if he doesn't, he's taking a 12. So that's just a good way for me to bleed his hand. I believe this is where I do go. I believe I go 8. I believe I go 8 into the Weevil. Or maybe I don't. I either go 8 into the Weevil or 8 into life, and then I play like Rebecca and then get back a Brook and then pop the teach. I believe that's what I do. I believe it's into life because I gotta because this deck doesn't play any blockers either. That's right. It's into life because this deck doesn't play any blockers other than Boa. And then if he plays Boa, I just finger pistol it and I just win the game no matter what because he's running out of counter. But GG to him, and let's go to the recap of this video. So as I was saying, guys, come here, buddy. Come here. Lucci is a very, very, very strong deck. It is a very, very strong deck. And I believe that with the Tashigi edition, it is probably actually, for those of you guys who saw my tier list, a top 16, maybe even top 8 deck. It is that good. It is good against Blackbeard now because we do play cards that can trash the Burgesses and forcing him to swing with Teach. Obviously, it's still not favored, don't get me wrong, but every other matchup it's actually pretty good into. So, and yeah, let me know what you guys think of it, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.